for our quiz tomorrow. This practice quiz is something that you can use on it. This is going to be your guide. It will be identical to this. So first of all, I'm going to just write answer key up here, since I'm going to be giving you the answers to this. You're welcome to work ahead if you like, but I'm also going to be walking through all of these with you. So on the first page, we have quadratic expressions that we are factoring, and all four of these are going to be where a is equal to 1. So whenever we're factoring expressions where a is 1, what is our answer setup going to look like?
X squared minus 9 equals 8.
So that is our original quadratic expression. Absolutely. We've got x squared minus 9x plus 8. But what's our factor form going to look like? What's going to be in our two parentheses?
X.
Yes.
Okay, yeah.
So since I don't have any number attached to my x squared, it's just a is 1. We know our answer is going to be x plus or minus something times x plus or minus something. Okay. So how do we figure out what numbers will go in there? Yeah, factors of c or our factors of 8. And what options do we have here?
1 and
1 and 8,
2 and 4.
2 and 4.
1 and 2.
Yeah, and then we could reverse all those 4 and 2, 8 and 1. So let's think about this. Whenever we are looking at all possible factors, what's going to tell us that these are the correct numbers to use? What do they need to add up to? To b. So our middle term is negative 9. So we've got 1 plus 8, that gives us positive 9. What could I do to make it a negative 9? Just make them negative. And I know that these will work because negative 1 times negative 8, those negatives will cancel and I'll still get my positive 8 for my C. So these are going to be my numbers. So x minus 1 and x minus 8. You could also do x minus 8 and x minus 1. Both answers are correct since there's just an a equal to 1. When a is bigger than 1, that's when we start running into trial and error, and we have to try a few options. Any questions about number 1? Okay. 2 through 4 are the exact same, so we'll go through these a little quickly. Please tell me if you want me to slow down. I'm happy to. We can explain it in more detail if anybody wants that. Let me zoom in just a little bit. Maybe I'll turn this light on. It just seems a little dark. Here we go. Perfect. Okay, let's look at number 2. Got x squared minus 7x minus 18. What's my answer going to look like? Yeah, I'm going to have x's at the beginning of both my parentheses. And then what should I do to figure out the numbers?
Factors of negative 18.
Exactly, factors of negative 18. So whenever I need to find factors of a negative number, what type of numbers am I going to have positive versus negative for my factors?
Positive and negative.
Yes, I need to have one positive number and one negative number. If I do 2 negatives, that's going to give me a positive when I multiply. So what numbers do you guys want to try first?
2 and negative 9.
Okay, sure. Let's try 2 and negative 9. And what do you know? If I do 2 plus negative 9, I get negative 7. And that is what I wanted. So what goes in my parentheses?
X plus 2.
Good. X plus 2. X minus 9. So then we circle it. Good job, guys. Now also pay attention to the top. I said show your work and circle your answers.
I don't know how to show my work.
So for these simpler ones, you might not be able to show work. If this is something that you can do in your head by now, that is totally fine. The show your work is, I'm going to tell you, it's a suggestion. I'm not going to take points off if you don't show your work. However, if you get an incorrect answer, if you've shown your work, I can look and see where that came from and give you partial credit. But if you just have a wrong answer and no reason for it, then the whole question would just have to be wrong from there. So if you're unsure, always show your work. But if you feel confident you can do this part in your head, that is fine. That is totally fine with me. But please circle your answers. Please circle your answers. Questions on number 2. Ready for 3? Okay. So on number 3, we've got a similar type of expression. A is 1, so our x's go here in the first part of our parentheses. And what am I finding factors of? 2. I've only got one option.
So it's gonna be x plus 1, x plus 2.
Exactly. 1 plus 2 is 3, and that's our b, so that's perfect. X plus 1, x plus 2. So like one of these, for example, most of you can totally do this in your head. So I'm not taking points off if you got it in your head and you're just writing it down. It's totally okay. Okay. Let's look at number 4. X squared plus 3x minus 10. Since our a is 1, our answer is going to be x's in the beginning of our parentheses. And what do we find in factors of?
-10.
Good, -10. So what kind of numbers, positive or negative, do we need as our factors?
Both.
We need both. We need one positive number, one negative number. So what are some options here? Oh, I've got like 1 and -10.
You do 2 and 5.
2 and 5. Okay, so which one of these would be a better option to make negative here?
2. -2.
Yeah, let's do -2, because if I do 5 plus -2, I'm going to get that positive 3 that I want.
X minus 2 is x plus 5.
Exactly, x minus 2, x plus 5. Perfect. Perfect, perfect. Right, any questions on the first page? Okay, we're going through quick. Does anybody need to see this writing, or can we move forward? Yes, Eric.
So when we're doing our factors, it doesn't matter which side has a negative when we're figuring it out.
No, it doesn't. Just whatever helps you stay organized the best. You know, like maybe you write your numbers first, and then you put the -1. Like I know Mac mentioned last week, whenever you're writing your factors, she doesn't put the negative in her T-chart. And so maybe the number's there first, and then I just think, well, 2 needs to be the -1. So I'm gonna, you know, it's kind of up to you how you decide to organize your work. Okay. Good question. Okay, let's look at the second page. This is double-sided, so second page is on the back of the first. So now we get one step tougher, where each of the following quadratic expressions on this page is going to have an a that is greater than 1. So let's look at number 5. Got 5x squared plus 15x plus 10. My a is 5, my b is 15, and my c is 10. What's the first thing I should always check for if my a is greater than 1?
GCF.
Yes, let's see if there's a GCF here. Can I divide all of my terms by the same number?
Yeah.
Yeah, what number can I divide by?
5.
5. Let's do that. Let's divide by 5 for each of the terms. So if I take out a GCF, where does that number go?
Or you bring it
On
in
the outside.
Yes, you want to bring it down outside of the parentheses. Now we need to figure out what goes in the parentheses.
X.
Yep, 5 divided by 5 is 1, so I got x squared plus 15 divided by 5 is 3x, good, plus 10 divided by 5, that gives us 2. Okay, so we factored out our GCF. That was the first step. Now we are here. So now we have a new A, B, and C. And you don't have to label them. You could do this in your head, but I'm going to go ahead and label them just so that we can be really mindful that we do have new A, B, and C. So what would I do from here? Factors of 2, exactly. And what's my answer gonna look like before I find those factors?
5.
Uh-huh,
Outside difference.
outside, good.
Then X.
And then x,
Plus and plus.
yeah, x plus or minus something times x plus or minus something. When we factor out a GCF, the GCF goes outside your answer.
Be 1 and 2.
Yeah, 2, our only options for the factors are 1 and 2. And if we check, 1 plus 2 does make 3, which is our B.
X plus 1.
Perfect. X plus 1 times x plus 2 with the 5 on the outside. And that would be our answer. Any questions about number 5? Give you guys a second to copy that down before we go to 6. Okay. Let's go ahead and look at number 6. I've got 7x squared plus 35x plus 42. What should I check for first? Greatest common factor. Is there a GCF? 7. Let's divide everything by 7. And then I'll put 7 on the outside of my parentheses and divide all my terms. So 7 divided by 7. I have x squared left.
Plus 5X.
Perfect. Plus 5x.
Plus 6.
Plus 6. Wonderful. So what do I do next?
Bring that 7 down.
Yeah, let's bring the 7 down for our answer. And since a is 1 now, x squared, we just got our 7 times x plus or minus something times x plus or minus something.
Plus 2 and plus 3.
Yeah, factor of 6.
Factors of 6. I heard 2 and 3. 2 times 3 makes 6, and 2 plus 3 makes 5. That's going to be our answer. X plus 2, x plus 3, all of it times 7. So we circle it. Pretty good. I'll leave that one up for a minute. Anybody have questions about number 6? I feel like you guys have got these down pretty well. Yes. No, thank you, Dominic. That's a good question. Dominic asked, does it matter what order these second and third parentheses, or sorry, the x plus 2 and x plus 3, does it matter which one comes first? No, it doesn't. The reason that we can put them in either order is because both of them are just 1x and 1x. The only time that the order starts to matter is whenever we have numbers inside the parentheses with x, which we'll see those on the next page. But thank you for asking that. Okay. Yes, start. Okay.
Oh, never mind. We figured it out.
Okay. Okay. Okay, guys, are we ready to move on to 7? Or does anyone still need to write? Okay, let's go ahead. Number 7, I've got 14x squared minus 42x plus 28. Can I factor out any numbers? 14, are these all divisible by 14? All right, let's do it then. 14, 14, 14. 14 on the outside, and let's see. I'll be left with x squared. What would my middle term be? 42 divided by 14.
Negative 3.
-3, thank you. X. And what about my last one? Plus 2, thank you. Okay. Now I need my factors of 2. Got 1 and 2, or 2 and 1. But we need to be really careful here because what do we need to notice about our B?
It's a negative.
It's a negative. So that means, what do I need to do with my factors? Make them negative. So that -1 times -2, that still gives me +2, but -1 plus -2 is going to give me my b, which is -30. So what would my answer be here?
14.
X
minus
minus
1.
Uh-huh. Perfect. You guys got that. 14 times x minus 1 times x minus 2. That is it, guys. Y'all, we're already halfway through this. Nice, easy day today.
I feel like you're just so excited about it.
Well, I'm just excited not for all of you to be leaving here stressed. I felt so bad last week. I feel like I put you guys through it. So I'm trying to make up for that today. Okay, let's look at number 8 now. What's the first thing I should check? GCF. Is there a GCF?
3.
Show is 3. So let's divide everything by 3. And put that on the outside here. So I'm gonna leave me with x squared plus x minus what? 12. Good. Okay. So all these on this page are really nice because we can factor out a number and get our a to equal 1. The next page is where we go one step trickier. Okay, so how am I going to figure out what numbers go in here?
Through 12.
Yep, let's factor not just 12, but -12. Okay. Let's see, we've got, I know 3 and 4 make 12. If I want these to add together to get a +1, which number should I make negative? Yeah, let's make 3 negative, because 4 plus -3, that's going to give us +1. So what is our answer?
3 plus 4.
Good. -3 and +4 in our parentheses. And we circle that. Good. So on numbers 5 through 8, just make sure that whenever you factor out your GCF, it needs to be included in your answer. That's the biggest thing to try and remember here. All right.
Question, Taylor.
Yes.
When we do our quiz tomorrow, will it be like in sections where you put
Yes.
is greater than?
It will. It will. So what I'm giving you today is genuinely an exact replica of your quiz tomorrow. It'll be in the same format, same layout. The questions will go in the same order from simplest to most complex. There's not going to be any surprises tomorrow. It'll be exactly what you see here. All right. Anything else before we go to page 3? All right, let's do it. So here's where we go one step further. This time we are factoring quadratic expressions where a is greater than 1 and the greatest common factor is not equal to a. So that means even if I can factor out a number, I'm not going to be able to reduce it down to a equals 1. I'm going to have to include a number in my parentheses for my answer for my factored form. So let's look at number 9 here. Anytime our a is greater than 1, and in this case our a is 7, go ahead and label all of them. B is -31, C is -20. Anytime our a is greater than 1, we always want to start by checking if there's a GCF, just like we did on the last page. So is there anything we can factor out
So
of?
anytime, not to interrupt you, anytime.
Go ahead.
A is greater than 1, what else was I writing? I was taking notes.
Oh, you're okay. Anytime, are you asking like what these questions are like what I read off the page or what I told you to do when a is greater than 1?
What you told us to do.
Okay, So anytime A is greater than 1, the first thing you should do is check to see if there's a greatest common factor. See if you can take anything out of it first. See if we can divide everything by the same number. Okay. So for number 9, can we divide these by anything? No, we cannot. So what happens to our answer if I cannot get my A to 1?
Bring the 7 that goes into.
Yes, that 7 needs to be part of my answer. So the reason it's going to be in there is because 7, and this part you don't need to show. I'm just giving a little bit of reason why. 7x times x is going to give me 7x squared. And whatever our factors are, they need to multiply out to give us this original expression. So our answer needs to have a 7x plus or minus something times x plus or minus something. So that when we FOIL, our first term will be 7x squared. Okay. So we've got our answer format. How am I going to figure out what numbers go in here? Yeah, we're going to do just the exact same thing we always do. We're going to find the factors of C, or negative 20. But since there's a 7 in our answer, instead of just x and x, we won't be able to use the addition trick to check our answer. We won't be able to see, well, do these factors add up to negative 31? We're going to have to check it using that rainbow method or some mental math if you're able to do that in your head. So let's see, what are our factors of negative 20 we could try?
20.
Yeah.
4 of them. 2
1 and negative 20, 2 and 10.
Oh, yeah, 10. Sorry.
Yeah, that's okay.
My bad.
And then no 3. 3 doesn't go into negative 20 evenly. So 4 and negative 5.
Yeah.
And that's as far as we can go. All we would be able to do to try the other options is change the negative where it is on which number. So which one would you guys like to try first? 2 and 10? Sure, let's try it. So do we want to do plus 2 minus 10? Sure, we can do that. Okay, so plus
That'll be
2
70.
minus 10. Yeah, here's where mental math can come in handy. I know that my second number is going to get multiplied by my first term. And that's going to give me 2 times x is 2x. 7x times negative 10 is negative 70x.
Wait, we can do that.
So I'm going to have a total of negative 68x here, and I need negative 31x. So I know 2 and 10 aren't going to be my answer. So let's try something else.
The 4 and 5.
The 4 and the 5. Sure, let's try that. Okay. Plus 4 minus 5?
Yeah.
Let's do it. Plus 4
Oh, wait.
x minus 5. Let's see what happens. So I'll do the rainbow again. 4 times x makes 4x.
Oh, no, it would be 35.
Well, let's
39,
see.
so-
7x times negative 5 makes negative 35x.
Oh, wait, no, yeah, it would.
Ah, good. This one's going to work. Because if I have negative 35 plus 4, that's going to give me negative 31. And that's my middle term, negative 31x. So because we saw that when we multiply using our rainbow and we add those together, we've got our middle term. So that's going to be our answer here. So we'll just circle that. Okay. Any questions about number 9 or just the process in general? Try number 10. Or are we still writing 9? we're gonna go ahead and move on. If I'm ever going too fast, let me know. I don't wanna jump ahead of anybody. So for number 10, I've got 28x squared plus 16x minus 80. What should I check for first? Yeah, is there a greatest common factor? Is there?
Yeah.
There is a greatest common factor. What might that number be?
16.
Well, let's try. Let's see if 16 works.
No.
Let's see.
Oh, no.
No.
No, it doesn't. Yeah, 28 divided by 16 isn't gonna work.
I think it's
I
gonna
got
be 8.
8.
8?
I think.
Can we do 8? Well, let's think. 8 plus 8 is 16.
8 times
Plus-
4 is 24, so no, it doesn't work.
Yeah, it's not gonna work with 8.
You gotta go lower.
Yeah, what's the next lowest one we could try?
4.
4. Let's try 4. 28 divided by 4. That's gonna give me 7. Okay, and I know I can't divide anything else by 7. 16 is divisible by 4. Yeah, 4 is gonna work. I think that's our GCF, guys. So remember, if we take out our GCF, we gotta put it on the outside of the parentheses. So 28 divided by 4 gives us 7x squared. 16 divided by 4 is gonna give us plus 4x.
Minus 20.
Yes, 80 divided by 4 minus 20. Perfect. Okay. So, yes.
Do you have an answer?
For the practice quiz?
Yes.
I do. Let me pause this real quick. All right, so we just factored out our greatest common factor, which was 4. So we're still left with A is greater than 1. So what is going to happen to our answer?
They both stay.
Say that one more time.
They both gonna stay.
They're both going to stay. So I know I'm going to have 4 on the outside of my answer because GCF does not leave. And then in my 2 parentheses, what's going to be in my first one? Yes, I need to keep 7x and x. So now I know what my answer is going to look like. What's my next step? Yes, factors of negative 20. We actually did that in the last question, so we could pull from some of these. Now, whenever I do the rainbow method to check, what is the, what's the part that I'm looking to make sure they add up to?
B.
My B, or my middle term. I need to make sure that I'm gonna add up to 4x. So, let's see, we've got 1, negative 20, 2, and negative 10, 4, and negative 5, and then we could always flip-flop those. Is there any of these that are kind of jumping out at you that you want to try first?
Or
Probably 4 negative 5.
4 and negative 5? Yeah, sure. So 4 would be here, and negative 5 would be here. So I'm thinking about this already. I know that in my last problem, when I did 7x plus 4 and x minus 5, my middle term came out to negative 31x. So instead of writing that all over again, I can look here and see I just did that. So 4 and negative 5 probably aren't going to be my answer. I'm going to cross that one off. What's another one we could try?
2 and negative 10.
2 and negative 10. Okay, so if I put 2 here, oh, looks like I actually did that one on the last problem too.
You gotta put negative 10.
2 and negative 10 is going to give me negative 68. Can't be that.
Negative 10 will have to go first.
Oh, put the negative 10 first?
Yeah.
Sure, let's try that. Negative 10 and 2. Yeah, we haven't tried that yet. So 7x minus 10 and then x plus 2. Okay, so let's see what happens. Negative 10 x and 7 times 2 is plus you plus 14x. Ah,
Too much.
what do you know? No, look at this. 14 minus 10.
Oh, yeah,
Ah,
correct.
that gives us 4x, and that's what we wanted.
Plus, can you turn me?
That's what I just popped in my head. It's not that, so that.
Yeah. Remember, you guys, on Fridays, I also do very I'm happy to help y'all. Okay, so this would be our answer. This would be our answer. Any questions about number 10? Now this one's a little trickier. Y'all got it though. And you know, if you might not be able to get it on the second try, and that's totally okay. Your page, you might need a scrap paper and you might need to go through every single one until you get the right answer, but that is fine. You'll get it. You will. All right. Anybody still writing for number 10? Can we try 11? Okay, let's do 11 again. And again, if anybody needs me to go back up and show work, let me know. So number 11, same kind of problem here. Is there a greatest common factor?
1.
Just 1. And if I factor out 1, that's not going to do anything. So what does my answer need to look like?
3x squared minus.
Yeah, so I know when I've got 3x squared minus 5x plus 2, can't take anything out. That means 3x needs to be in my answer with x. Like this. And what's my next step?
2.
Yeah, we want to find the factors of 2, which are 1 and 2, or 2 and 1. So we've got a negative middle term, so we know that these are both going to be negative numbers. Okay, so which one do we want to try first? Let's try it. -2, -1. So we got -2x, -3x, and -2 plus -3 is -5x.
Does it matter which order you put them in?
In this case, yes. So let's see what would happen if we put it in the other order. 3x minus 1 times x minus 2.
Oh, okay.
So when I check, yeah, I bet you already solved it in your head. I get -1x and -6x, which when I add those together, it'll give me -7x, which is not what we want. So we do have to be careful whenever our A is in our answer. We got to be very careful to make sure that we put our factors in the right place. Yes.
You flip the -1 to a positive one, you get the right answer, but that might be incidental.
Where?
On the second one down there. Where you
This
got,
one?
Where you got -7x, if you turn -1 to a +1, that would be -6 plus +1.
Can you tell me which problem you're looking at?
The one that's here.
And that's what I was
is the one
trying to
that you said was
ask.
wrong.
Yes, that's what I was trying to ask. Thank you.
Okay, so what did I do wrong here?
You didn't do anything wrong. I was just saying if you turned that one positive, you would get the right answer, and I was asking if that's incidental.
Ah, so if I
That's
turned
what I
it
did.
positive, I would get the right answer, but that's not a factor of +2.
Ah.
Because +1 times -2 would give me -2, so it still wouldn't be right. So we have to be very, very careful, especially whenever we've got, it's our signs, we get mixed up on those. It's easy to make those mistakes. But worth looking at, Okay. Any other comments or questions about number 11? Okay, I'll leave that to the side. Let's look at 12. Okay. Can I factor anything out?
No,
No. So what's my answer gonna look like?
2x in parentheses,
Good.
then x in
2x and x. Now let's look at my factors of C. Good job, Stella.
It'd be 121,
Mm-hmm.
then 3 and 7. And then you bring it'd be 2x plus 3,
Ooh.
and then x plus 7.
Okay, let's try it out. Let's see if it works. We want to make sure they add up to 17x. We're trying this one. 3 times x is
Plus
3x.
Period. I know that's right.
2 times 7,
14.
14x.
Plus those.
And 14x plus 3x is 17x. That's what we wanted. First try. Nice.
Ain't that
Very nice. All right. Questions for number 12 or any of the questions on page 3, 9 through 12. All right, let's go ahead. Just 2 more questions, guys, and then we're gonna go through how to solve these bonus questions that I'm offering you. You can earn up to 4 bonus points, 2 points per question. So if you get everything right on here, I want to say the highest score you can get on this quiz is like 106%. So, just throwing that out there.
Where's Jeremiah?
I know it. Let's look at number 13. This is the same type of problems continued. So I just put that. A is greater than 1 and GCF is not equal to A. Continued. So let's look at number 13. What's first thing I should check?
For the GCF.
Can I divide these terms by anything? 3. Let's try 3. 21 divided by 3 is 7. 135. Okay. I'm gonna write out my work. I'm gonna try dividing everything by 3. So that'll give me a 7 x squared minus 45 x. 4 divided by 3, 28 minus 28. Okay. Can we go any further, or is that as far as we can go factor wise?
No,
Yeah, I don't think there's anything else that we can put in these numbers. I think that's as far as we can go. Everybody agree? Okay. So, what do I do now? Yeah, find our factors of negative 28. And what is my answer format gonna look like?
3,
Mm-hmm.
7x.
Good. And then an X. Good. So we need to find numbers that when we check with the rainbow, they need to add up to the negative 45x. So 28, we've got 1 and 28, 2 and 14, 4 and 7. Can we do 3 with 28? I don't know if we can.
No.
Nope. 4 and 7, you said? Okay. Let's just go to there for now. Now, whenever I have a negative number, what do my factors look like? Yes, one will be positive, one will be negative. So I'm just gonna make this side negative to start, make my smaller numbers negative, and then I can always switch it if they don't work. Which one of these do you guys want to try first?
4 and negative 7.
Yeah, let's do, okay, we said positive 4 and negative 7? Let's try that. Let's try that. Plus 4, negative 7. So 4 times x is 4x. 7 times negative 7 is negative 49x. Look at that. Negative 49 plus 4. That's going to give me my negative 45x. That's what I wanted. Now, if you weren't able to get that on the very first try, that is totally okay. Sometimes it takes a little more guess and check. It might be a longer process. That is completely fine. You will get to that answer eventually. Does somebody want to explain, though, how they might be able to tell just by looking quickly and not writing out the work? How could they tell that this might be our answer? Start?
Times 7 and 7, go with the right-hand number.
Yes, so that number on the right-hand side, that 7, I know that's going to get multiplied by my first term here, which is 7x. 7 times 7 is 49, which that's pretty close to 45. So that would be a really good way to think about which numbers we should try first. Because if I did 7 times 28, I'm going to be at a huge number. 7 times 14, still too big. 7 times 7, that's looking a little better. So guys, this is our answer, and don't forget to include your GCF in there. That's why I always bring it down before I do my factors, because I know myself, it would not be included. I would forget. So always do it as you go. Okay, any other questions on number 13? Any comments? Are we ready for, yes?
Are we gonna be allowed to use calculators, yes or no?
Oh, yes,
Or,
yes.
multiplication charts, yes?
Always, always. You will always be allowed calculators, always allowed multiplication charts, always allowed to use notes. You can use this practice quiz on the quiz tomorrow. Absolutely. Because, and the reason I allow that is because I feel like there are a lot of people that I have seen in my experience as a teacher that on a day-to-day basis, they can do the problems. They know the content. They got the material. But yes, something about testing and quizzing, and there is an anxiety portion that people don't recognize where you get that paper in front of you, your mind goes blank, and it's like the knowledge has left. I don't ever want anyone to experience that paralysis and not have something to fall back on. I don't ever consider using notes cheating. I just think that in the real world, we don't have to have every little thing memorized, you know, and
When I was taking AP Psych, I could tell you almost anything you wanted to know about Freud's theory of conditioning, but then when it came time to take the test, I failed it because I had something like this.
And
But then she
how
walked
unfair.
up to me and we were having a conversation about it, and she was like, so you wanna explain to me why you failed this test?
It is anxiety. Like, it's such a real thing.
As someone that struggled with math really bad, I feel like making sure that people get the right answer and understand how to get the right answer, regardless of how they get the answer,
Yeah.
is more important than making them memorize how to get the answer.
Exactly.
That's not, I mean, because then if I'm
100%.
focusing on that, I'm not actually learning the math.
Right, right. And that's my goal, is for you to understand it, not to memorize a formula. I want you to know why it works and be able to do that on your own. Yes.
And nowadays, everyone has, well, almost everyone has the entire wealth of knowledge in their pocket. so.
Exactly. So you can look up things on a, moment's notice. Now, on our quizzes, I'm not gonna allow you to use that, wealth of knowledge in your pocket. The
That's why I
phones.
asked, because I don't know my factors, like I don't know how to divide like that, so that's why I
Yes.
needed to know if we could use our
Yes,
calculator.
like, girl, you see me teaching you, I gotta pull my calculator out, because I don't know that 28 is not divisible by 3. I don't expect anybody to memorize multiplication facts. You will always have those tools available.
That's like some fifth grade stuff.
Oh, yeah. Okay, guys, let's look at number 14. This is the last graded question. The rest are bonus, so they're optional. So we've got 4x squared plus 34x
I got
plus 42. Is there a greatest common factor?
No.
2. All right, let's divide by 2.
Y'all know how I love to say two.
Oh, then I'm looking at the, never mind, I'll do the bonus.
So 2 goes on the outside of our parentheses. We'll divide everything. We've got 2x squared. Go ahead. plus,
17x
17x.
plus 21.
Good, plus 21. All right, so what's our answer gonna look like?
2 parentheses 2x
Perfect.
parentheses x.
Yes. And we'll do the same process, factors of C. So we got 1 and 21,
3 and 7.
3 and 7. Honestly, let's stop there. Let's do some mental math here. 2 times 21 is going to give me 42. That's going to be too big because I know I need my numbers to add up to my middle term, which is 17x. So, what do we think about 3 and 7?
That works.
That's going to work. 2 times 7 is 14, 15, 16, 17. I'm going to write the workout though, just in case. So plus 3, plus 7. We can check it with our rainbow. I know 3x plus 14x, and that's going to give me 17x. That's exactly what we wanted. So we circle it. Okay. That is it, guys. Your quiz tomorrow is 14 questions. Now, I am going to go through with you how to do the bonus question.
Thank you.
Absolutely, absolutely. Because this is also a sneak peek into what we will be doing after the quiz. We're going to start solving for x on all of these expressions, and they won't be expressions anymore. They will be equations where we have the quadratic equal to a number. So before we go through these, does anyone have any questions, any comments, concerns about anything on the quiz before we transition to the bonus questions? If not, we'll go ahead and do those. Okay. So let's look at our bonus questions. So 4 bonus points. These are worth 2 points each, meaning you can get 2 bonus points each, a total of 4 bonus points. You are going to solve the quadratic equations for all values of x. So whenever we're solving for x in a normal equation, we always just have one answer, x equals something. With a quadratic equation, we're going to have 2 values for x. And it's not as scary as it might sound. So the first thing we're going to do is we're just going to factor this side of our equation like we normally would. So let's factor this. Is there a greatest common factor here?
No.
Nope. So I know my answer is going to be 2x and x. And this time it'll be equal to 0. I want to bring that down. So how am I going to figure out what goes in there?
Find your factors of 3.
My factors of 3, which are 1 and 3 or 3 and 1. And I need them to add up to 7x. So if I go ahead.
Sorry, I was solving it first.
Well, you're right.
1 and 3, right?
Yeah. If I have plus 1 and plus 3, I know that's right, because 2 times 3 is 6x. 1 and x makes 1x. 6 plus 1 is 7x. That's what we wanted. So here's where it's different. We've got our factored form. This is not our last step anymore. Oh, now we see that these are equal to 0, and we want to solve for x. So all we need to do is separate these and solve them both for x. So I'm going to name this one 1 and this one 2. I'm going to pull 1 over here. 2x plus 1 equals 0. And my second one, x plus 3 equals 0. So let's start with the first one. Whenever we are solving an equation We're always kind of working backwards. So normally in the order of operations, we do multiplication first and then addition and subtraction. But since we're working in reverse,
We wouldn't be, like, for like the second one I did it, so it'd be like -3 plus 2.
yes.
Oh,
Exactly. So to solve this first equation, 2x plus 1, what would my first step be?
Take one from both sides.
Say it again.
Take one from
Yes.
both sides.
Yes, I want to try to get x by itself, and to get one step closer to that, let's get rid of this plus 1. I'll do -1. You do the opposite on both sides of the equation. So +1 and -1 would cancel out. And that would leave me with 2x equals -1.
Now you take two from both sides.
Yeah, okay, so now I have 2 times x equals -1. What's the opposite of multiplication? Division. So we want to always do the opposite. We're going to divide both sides by 2. My 2's over here with my x would cancel out. So that's going to leave me with x equals -1/2 or -0.5. I will take the fraction or the decimal. Either one is fine.
I can take the decimal.
-1 divided by 2. And that would be, yeah, here. You could do that on your calculator if you want. -1 divided by 2. -0.5.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. All right. So there's the first equation. Now to get both bonus points, this will give you 1 bonus point if you solve one of your x's. We just got to solve this one now. X plus 3 equals 0. What should I do?
-x from -3 from each side.
Yeah, -3 on both sides. And that's going to leave me with x equals -3. And you get a circle them. These are your 2 answers. So it's not so bad. It's just one extra step. Once you factor, you just set it to 0 and solve.
Okay, so whatever comes behind that X, you have to basically take out of both numbers?
I'm going to say yes. Can you tell me which one you're referring to, though? Like, are you talking about the 2x plus 1?
Like when you did the 2x plus 1, we took -1 from your
Yes.
plus and -1 from your 0.
Yes. So we like to think of there being 2 sides of an equation. There is the 2x plus 1. Then our equal sign is what separates this side from the other side. So to keep an equation balanced, whatever I do on one side, I have to do it to the other side. So if I subtract 1 over here, I also need to subtract 1 from my 0.
Okay.
And we will go over all of the equation rules and get really confident with that once we've taken this quiz. This is just a little sneak peek into it. Any questions about that first bonus question? We can talk about it more if you want, but if everybody's ready, we can do the next one. I'm going to move on. Okay, last one. 3x squared plus 14x plus 8 equals 0. Is there a greatest common factor?
No.
Nope. So my answer needs to be 3x and x equals 0. So how am I going to find my numbers?
Factors of it.
Yeah, I want to find my factors of 8. Got 1 and 8, 2 and 4.
5, 2, and 4.
Which one should we try?
2 and 4.
2 and 4? Yeah, because 4 times 3 is 12. 13, 14, that one's going to work. Okay. So I know I'm going to have 2x, and then 4 times 3 is 12x. And that makes 14x, which is our middle term. So we know we factored this correctly. So I've got my factored form. What do I need to do now to find my values of x?
You need to separate the equation.
Yeah, we're gonna set these equal to 0. I've got 3x plus 2 is equal to 0. And I've got x plus 4 is equal to 0. So let's start with the first one, 3x plus 2. What's my first step here?
Take 2 away from both
Yeah.
sides.
Good, minus 2 from both sides. And then again, here's the sides, that equal sign separates them. So plus 2 and minus 2, those cancel out, they're gone. I'm left with 3x equals negative 2. And what's my last step here?
Divide.
Divide by 3.
Good, divide by 3 on both sides. And that's gonna leave me with x equals
Negative.
Negative
2/3. That is your answer. But are we done?
No.
Nope, we got one more x to solve for. X plus 4 equals 0. What do I do?
-4.
Good, minus 4 from both sides. Whenever you just have an x and a number, you'll start to be able to do these in your head.
Yeah.
Positive 4 is gonna give you a negative 4 for your answer.
Can you do this for the other equations? Like, cause I was
Yes.
looking at the answer key, I got that wrong. I only factored it.
Ah,
But now I know how to do it. But
Yes.
can you do this for the other
you
equations?
can do this same process for every problem on this quiz. So if you're wanting to get ahead and practice, like you feel good about the factoring already and you want to work on the solving, you guys are more than welcome to try setting all these to 0 and solving for x for any of them. It will work every time. Absolutely, yes.
But it's not worth bonus points.
It's not worth bonus points. I'm not gonna give you more credit for it because I'm already giving you the opportunity to make almost 110% on here. But,
Sit back a little bit. So I
That's
can
it, just be mean.
like that.
You got extra ticket today?
No exit ticket today. Your exit ticket is showing me that you filled out your practice quiz. So before you leave, just show it to me and you are free to go. Use the rest of your time to study if you want, or if you feel good, give your brain a break. Give your brain a break. All right, I'm gonna come around and just check off and I'm gonna give you guys 10 points if you were here and you finished it.
Or so we're supposed to come back